The University of St. Thomas is a private, Catholic, liberal arts, and archdiocesan university located in St. Paul and Minneapolis, Minnesota, United States. Founded in 1885 as a Catholic seminary, it is named after Thomas Aquinas, the medieval Catholic theologian and philosopher who was the patron saint of students in the Roman Catholic Church. St. Thomas currently enrolls more than 10,000 students, making it Minnesota's largest private, non-profit university. Dr. Julie Sullivan became the 15th president in the history of the university in 2013. History. Founded in 1885 by John Ireland, Archbishop of St. Paul and Minneapolis, St. Thomas began as an all-male Catholic seminary. In 1894, the liberal arts program became an independent college through a gift from a local railroad tycoon, James J. Hill, who provided funds to establish the St. Paul Seminary School of Divinity apart from the college. In 1903, the College of St. Thomas established a military program on campus, and it was officially termed a military school by the U.S. War Department in 1906. Initially, the school gave out 2-year diplomas in commercial and classical programs before awarding its first academic degrees in 1915. In 1922, military training became optional. For the late 1920s through the mid-1930s, the Holy Cross Fathers, who run the University of Notre Dame, controlled the college's administration. The diocese called those priests in to help with the school's financial problems. Those priests were known as a crisis intervention team of sorts, for parochial schools of that time. During World War II, St. Thomas served as a training base for naval officers, which kept the school open when men who would have attended college were fighting in the war. After the war, in 1948, the college established Tomtown, on the eastern end of the lower quadrant, which is currently the site to the O'Shaughnessy Frey Library and O'Shaughnessy Education Center. Tomtown, made of 20 double-dwelling huts, consisted of white barrack-like housing units for faculty, students and the families. The units helped to meet housing demand after World War II. In the latter half of the 20th century, St. Thomas started 2 of its most notable graduate programs, education in 1950 and business administration in 1974. The school became co-educational in 1977, and although women were not allowed to enroll until then, female students from St. Catherine University often took classes at St. Thomas. Women were also present as instructors and administrators on campus, but the staff, faculty, and administration has seen a vast increase in female employment since the move to co-education. In 1990, the College of St. Thomas became the University of St. Thomas, and the following year, the university opened the Minneapolis campus. In 2001, St. Thomas reinstated its School of Law at its Minneapolis campus. It had been shut down during the Great Depression. U.S. Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia was the speaker at the grand opening. Campuses. St. Paul. The St. Paul campus is home to most undergraduate students. The main campus, built on a farm site once considered far removed from town, is located where St. Paul's Summit Avenue meets the Mississippi River. The site was farmed by ex-Fort Snelling soldier William Finn, who received the property as a pension settlement after he accidentally shot himself in the hand while on guard duty. The western edge of the campus borders the Mississippi Gorge Regional Park. Summit Avenue, which runs through the middle of the campus, is the country's longest span of Victorian homes. This tree-lined avenue includes the Governor's Mansion, F. Scott Fitzgerald's townhome, and James J. Hill's mansion. In 2005, a new apartment-style residence hall was built on an existing parking lot. McNeely Hall was also built the following year. It is a large classroom building for business that replaced the smaller building of the same name. A new residential village, more parking ramps, and general planning all have been negotiated successfully with the surrounding neighborhood. These developments are expected to begin within the next 5 years. In early 2012, St.Thomas completed the final stage of its 3-building expansion on the St. Paul campus. The 2 main additions that were completed are the Anderson Athletic and Recreation Center and the Anderson Student Center. These projects were completed in the summer of 2010 and January 2012, respectively. The Anderson Athletic and Recreation Center has a field house, basketball arena, weight room, and swimming pool. The track in the field house is home to the most dominant track team in the MIAC conference. Other St.Thomas sports that use the AARC's facilities have also endured recent success, including a playoff run for the football team, and a national championship for the men's basketball team. The new Anderson Student Center is home to new food venues as well as entertainment options, including a game room and a bowling alley, and a coffee shop. There is also an art gallery on the 2nd floor, which is home to the American Museum of Art. Minneapolis. In fall 1992, the university opened a permanent, 150,000 square feet campus at 1000 LaSalle Avenue. In Minneapolis, the first building, named Terrence Murphy Hall in May 2000, is headquarters to the university's Opus College of Business. Artist Mark Balmer created one of the largest frescoes in the United States on the arched ceiling of its atrium. The 7-panel, 1,904 square feet fresco was completed in the summer of 1994 and portrays the 7 virtues discussed in the writings of St. Thomas Aquinas. The Minneapolis campus also holds St. Thomas School of Education, the School of Law, and Schultz School of Entrepreneurship. Daniel C. Gainey Conference Center. On May 15, 2014, it was announced that the Daniel C. Gainey Conference Center was sold to Meridian Behavioral Health, LLC, with a plan to convert it to a treatment facility for addiction and behavioral disorders. The deal closed in August 2014. The deal included the entire 180-acre property and all the buildings except for the Winston Guest House, which was designed by architect Frank Gehry. St. Thomas is still exploring options for the house, which will remain on the Gainey property for up to 2 years. Terms were not disclosed. Bernardi. Since 1999, the University of St. Thomas has been the only university in the United States to have a formal affiliation with the Pontifical University of St. Thomas Aquinas. Presidents. Academics. Each year the university awards almost 2,500 degrees, including 5 different bachelor's degrees. There are 88 major fields at the undergraduate level, with 59 minor fields of study and 7 pre-professional programs. At the graduate and professional level, the university offers 41 master's degrees, 2 education specialist, 1 Juris Doctor and 5 doctorates. Schools and colleges. The university offers its degree programs through 9 divisions. The College of Arts and Sciences includes undergraduate departments in the arts, humanities, natural sciences, and social sciences, plus a number of interdisciplinary programs. The Opus College of Business has 7 departments offering graduate and undergraduate curricula, including executive education and professional development at University of St. Thomas, and is one of 6 AACSB-accredited business schools in Minnesota. St. Thomas also houses the St. Paul Seminary School of Divinity, which offers master's and doctoral level degrees oriented to theological study and the practice of ministry. St. John Vianney Seminary, a minor college seminary, is also at St. Thomas. Other schools include the School of Education, the School of Engineering, and the School of Social Work. The Master of Social Work is offered as a double-degree program with the St. Catherine University. Schools housed on the Minneapolis campus include the Graduate School of Professional Psychology, undergraduate and graduate schools of education, graduate programs in software engineering, and the School of Law, which was reopened in 1999 after a 66-year hiatus. The University of St. Thomas is a member of the Associated Colleges of the Twin Cities, a consortium of 5 private liberal arts colleges. This program allows students to take classes at one of the associated colleges for no additional cost. Other schools include Hamline University, St. Catherine University, Macalester College, and Augsburg College. Athletics. St. Thomas's school colors are purple and gray, and the athletic teams are called the Tommies. The mascot for these teams is Tommy, the Tomcat. The name Tommy was changed to Tommy with an I when women were accepted as full-time students to be more inclusive of the women. St. Thomas is a member of the Minnesota Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, which performs at the NCAA Division III level. Since 1885, athletics have been present on St. Thomas campus. The first sports teams that became popular were intramural. The top intramural baseball teams in the 1890s were the Blues and Grays, which is where the Tommies school colors come from. Varsity sports did not begin until 1904. St. Thomas celebrated its 100th year of varsity athletics in 2003-2004. St. Thomas' longtime arch-rival is St. John's University from Collegeville, Minnesota. Recent national titles include men's basketball in 2011 and 2016, men's baseball in 2009 and 2001, women's softball in 2005 and 2004, men's lacrosse in 2013, 2012, 2010 and 2009, women's volleyball in 2012, and dance team in 2013, 2012, 2011, 2010, 2008 and 2006. St. Thomas also won national championships with women's basketball in 1991, men's cross-country in 1986 and 1984, men's indoor track in 1985, and women's cross-country in 1987, 1986, 1984 and 1982. In 2012, St. Thomas played for the first time in the Stag Bowl in Salem, Virginia, which is the Division III football national championship game, against the University of Mount Union, losing 28-10. WCCO broadcasts radio coverage of Tommy's football games. Student life. Student housing. Undergraduate housing is found on the St. Paul campus. Approximately 2,400 residents live in 10 traditional halls and apartments. Additionally, St. John Vianney College Seminary holds approximately 140 students. All traditional halls are single-sex, while apartment residences are co-ed by floor. Residence halls on campus are named after archbishops of Minneapolis, St. Paul, such as William O. Brady, Austin Dowling, and John Ireland. The all-female traditional hall of John Paul II is named after the former pope. Built in 1894, Cretin Hall is the oldest hall on campus and was designed by Cass Gilbert. Recently, the Department of Residence Life has purchased additional buildings on what they are calling mid-campuses in the area between Grand and Summit Avenues. These buildings house men and women transfer students in one of 2 buildings, separated by gender. There is an apartment complex that is specifically designed for sophomores. Also, they house students in the residence above the Child Development Center, which is a daycare facility on campus. The University of St. Thomas offers special interest floors, or floors that are intended to house specific residents with similar interests or class standing. Almost one-third of all floors are first-year experience floors, which consist of only freshmen. This practice attempts to create a cohesive community by placing students together that will have a similar experience. St. Thomas has also had a Catholic women's floor, Catholic men's floor, which are designed to help young men and women grow in the faith. The Changing Faces of Minnesota floors, the Women in Math and Amp Science floor, substance-free floors, and opened the first sophomore experience floors in the fall of 2008. Housing policies. The campus is not dry. Students over 21 years of age are allowed alcohol in the upper-class apartments. Undergraduate student government. The on-campus student association is the undergraduate student government, formerly known as the SEC. The student government is made up of an executive board and general council. Each executive board member receives a stipend. The executive board consists of the president of the student body, executive vice president of financial affairs, vice president of academic affairs, vice president of administrative affairs, and vice president of public relations. The general council consists of class presidents, class senators, and representatives from various university organizations. The student government oversees funding to all clubs on campus, approves new club requests, appoints students to various university committees, and represents the student body to the administration. USG has its own offices located in the Student Center. Elections are held in the fall and spring every academic year. Controversy. Desmond Tutu. In 2007, the president of the University of St. Thomas, Father Dennis Dees, cancelled a planned speech by Nobel Peace Prize laureate and anti-apartheid figure, Desmond Tutu, on the grounds that his presence might offend some members of the local Jewish community. Many faculty members of Voice for Peace led an email campaign calling on St. Thomas to reconsider its decision, which the president did, and invited Tutu to campus. Tutu declined the re-invitation, speaking instead at the Minneapolis Convention Center at an event hosted by Metropolitan State University. However, Tutu later addressed the issue 2 days later while making his final appearance at Metro State. Demolition of Foley Theatre. In 2008, plans were announced to the public that the theatre department at the University of St. Thomas was to be dissolved and that the school would no longer offer this major. Declining numbers of theatre majors was publicly cited as the reason. However, during this same time, plans were underway to make space for a new student center to be named after the Anderson family, then the largest single donors to a single private institution in United States history. Despite protests from senior faculty and students, the decision was made to demolish the theater and dissolve the department the same semester, though, according to the dean of St. Thomas's College of Arts and Sciences, Marissa Kelly, the two decisions were completely unrelated. Notable faculty and staff: John Abraham, professor in the School of Engineering; Michael Murphy Andrake, geneticist and peace activist; Archbishop William Brady; Don J. Brielle, professor of Catholic Studies; Glenn Caruso, head football coach; Bishop Andrew H. Cozzens, professor of divinity; Robert Delahunty, internationally recognized professor of law; David Durenberger, U.S. Senator from Minnesota; Massimo Fagioli, theology professor; Tom Horner, politician; Ellen J. Kennedy, genocide scholar; John Jeremiah Lawler, professor of divinity; Nekima Levy-Pounds, president of the Minneapolis NAACP; Whitney McMillan, a former chairman of the board and chief executive officer of Cargill; Eugene McCarthy, U.S. Senator and Representative; Owen McKiernan, early scholar in Irish studies. Harry Mehra, football and basketball coach. Thomas Mengler, Dean of the School of Law. Larry Miggins, baseball coach. Leslie Adrienne Miller, poet. Charles Morad, director of the Rome program in Catholic Studies. Mary Rose O'Reilly, poet. Mark Osler, professor of law. Bishop Lee Piquet, theology. David Renz, professor of public policy. John A. Ryan, moral theologian. Patrick J. Schultz, U.S. federal judge. Katarina Schad, professor for the social scientific study of religion. Janet E. Smith, moral theologian. David Strom, professor of political philosophy. Peter Val, professor of management. Robert Fisher, dean of the School of Law. Notable alumni, academia and education. Tim Callahan, geologist. Father Dennis Dees, former president of the University of St. Thomas. Richard Demio, computer scientist. Mark Dionhart, educator. Rick Kruger, educator. Abraham Kaplan, philosopher. Stephen A. McCarthy, director of the Cornell University Libraries. John A. Ryan, theologian. Edward J. Walsh, journalist. Arts and entertainment. Larry Bond, game designer and author. Vince Flynn, author. Dottie Cannon, Miss Minnesota USA 2006. T.R. Knight, actor, known for role on Grey's Anatomy. Thomas Mailchia, author. T.D. Mishki, radio talk show host. Evan Schwartz, author. Ali Salim, film director. Joe Otri, radio talk show host. John Vachon, photographer. Athletics. Adrian Barrell, professional football player. Jim Brandt, professional football player. Brady Beeson, professional football player. Hub Franta, professional football player. Courtney George, professional curler. Neil Guggamos, professional football player. Jim Gustafson, professional football player. Red Hardy, professional baseball player. Walt Kieseling, professional football player and coach, member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. John Kundler, first ever coach for the Minneapolis Lakers. Horace Labasanier, professional football player. Jake Mauer, professional baseball player and coach. Chuck Ryko, professional football player. Don Simonson, American football player. Larry Steinbach, American football player. Roy Vassau, professional football player. Joe Warren, professional soccer player. Dairy, Lemonation Heart, professional League of Legends player. Business and leadership. Ben Anderson, entrepreneur. Robert Bass, managing director. Disciplined Growth Investors. Ron Fowler, owner, San Diego Padres. John Schneider, general manager of the Seattle Seahawks. Bob Short, businessman, sport teams owner and politician. And Winblad, venture capitalist. Law, politics, government, and military. Samaria, social activist. James N. Azim, Jr., Wisconsin State Assemblyman. Mike Beard, member, Minnesota House of Representatives. William V. Bellinger, Jr., Minnesota State Senator. Michelle Benson, Minnesota State Senator. David H. Byatta, Mayor of Boise, Idaho. John E. Boland, member, Minnesota House of Representatives. Stephen F. Burkhead, attorney. Michael Ciresi, attorney. Ted Daly, Minnesota State Senator. Gary De Kramer, Minnesota State Senator. Terry Dempsey, member, Minnesota House of Representatives. Joe Dunn, California State Senator. Sondra Erickson, member, Minnesota House of Representatives. Peter Fisher, member, Minnesota House of Representatives. Burkhart, Nebraska State Senator. John Harrington, Chief of Metro Transit Police in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Brian H. Hook, a former Assistant Secretary of State for International Organization Affairs. Tom Horner, attorney. Paul Coles, member, Minnesota House of Representatives. Charles B. Kornman, United States federal judge. Arthur Len Root, Jr., Wisconsin State Senator. Patrick Lucy, Governor of Wisconsin. Mike McFadden, 2014 Republican candidate for U.S. Senate from Minnesota. Jim Oberstar, a former U.S. Congressman. RT. Rev. Monsignor James Hugh O'Neill, Brigadier General, U.S. Army. Cindy Pugh, Member, Minnesota House of Representatives. Patrick J. Ryan, Chief of Chaplains of the U.S. Army. Father Henry Timothy Vacock, first U.S. military chaplain to die from wounds received in the Iraq War. Conrado Vega, Minnesota State Senator. D.D. Wozniak, a former Chief Judge of the Minnesota Court of Appeals. Religion Bishop Joseph John Annabring. Bishop William Henry Bullock. Archbishop James Joseph Byrne, Archdiocese of Dubuque. Bishop Frederick F. Campbell. Archbishop Robert J. Carlson, Archdiocese of St. Louis. Archbishop Blase J. Cupich, Archdiocese of Chicago. Bishop Peter F. Christensen. Bishop Leonard Philip Cowley. Bishop Paul Vincent Dudley D.D. Bishop John Francis Doeffler. Bishop Paul D. Etienne. Bishop Lawrence Alexander Glenn. Bishop Thomas G. Gorman. Bishop Hilary Bauman Hacker. Bishop Lambert Anthony Hock. International Lutheran Fellowship. Archbishop Robert Hotz of Benedictine University. Bishop Edward Howard. Bishop James Keene. Bishop Francis Martin Kelly. Bishop Arthur Kennedy. Bishop John Francis Kinney. Bishop Louis Benedict Kucera. Bishop John M. Lavoie. Bishop Raymond W. Lessard D.D. Bishop Raymond Alphonse Lucker. Bishop Lawrence James McNamara. Bishop John Jeremiah McCraith. Bishop William Theodore Malloy. Bishop Gerald Francis O'Keefe D.D. Bishop Richard Pates. Bishop Lee Piquet. Archbishop John Roach, Archdiocese of St. Paul and Minneapolis. Archbishop Alexander King Sample, Archdiocese of Portland. Bishop Francis Joseph Schenck. Bishop Alphonse James Schladweiler. Archbishop Fulton Sheen, titular See of Newport, Wales. Bishop George Henry Speltz. Sister Rose Thering, social activist. Bishop Sylvester William Trianon. Bishop Nicholas Eugene Walsh. Bishop Thomas Anthony Welch. Bishop Stephen S. Wozniacki. Other Tom Dorr, President, Education Minnesota. Sema Aria, social activist. Dan Buettner, explorer, educator, author. Will Steger, polar explorer. Hussein Samatar, politician, banker and community organizer. Bibliography. Jia Chao, Merrilee. Private liberal arts colleges in Minnesota. The history and contributions. St. Paul, Minnesota Historical Society. Murphy, Terrence J. A Catholic University. Vision and Opportunities. Collegeville, The Order of St. Benedict.